As I said, we are going to be recognizing, and I would really ask you gentlemen, the members of the team, to come forward so everyone can see you while I am reading about your wonderful accomplishments. And that is today's boys varsity lacrosse team, who earlier this month won the New York State Championship Class C title in Rochester, New York. Gentlemen, please come forward. So here they are, folks. Yes, thank you. The team made it to the county finals last year and lost. Since then, it was their goal to get back into the game. They ended this season with a 19-2 overall record. The team won the Suffolk County Championship game with a winning goal scored by Mike Binkowski. Mike, raise your hand, wave. Are you here? There you go, Mike. All right, so this is drama. This is what they make movies out of. With 5 seconds on the clock, and won the Long Island Championship game with 7.4 seconds left on the clock, and a winning goal scored by Jeff Atlas. Jeff? Then it was on to Rochester, New York to compete in the state title. The community support was outstanding, and it doesn't surprise me, and it starts at the top with the school superintendent, who really has set the bar high for everyone participating and being there to support the kids in whatever their endeavors are, whether it's a play, a musical production, or a great effort on the sports field. The support was outstanding, according to head coach Keith Schneidel. Am I mispronouncing that, Coach? Scheidel. You should stand and wave too, so they can see you. Parents rented a bus and made the 7-hour trip north, along with others who drove themselves. Coach Scheidel said it was a great overall team effort from start to finish by everyone on and off the field. 15 graduating seniors will be going on to prestigious colleges in the fall, and some will be playing collegiate lacrosse. Here with the team today is head coach Keith Scheidel, assistant coaches Jeff Aiello, Tom Zumo, and Terrence Foley, and JV coaches John DeBat, Nick Apicella, and Greg Ruccio. On behalf of the town board, I'd like to ask you once again to recognize this outstanding team. We're going to present you with certificates in honor of your outstanding accomplishments. I'd also like to mention that 4 of the members of the team serve us and will be serving us this summer as Town of Islip lifeguards. Jeff Atlas, Teddy McLaughlin, Matt Troutman are lifeguards in the town, and George Maganoli is a park attendant. So, gentlemen, congratulations. Okay, I'd like to invite the coaches, the superintendent, town board to please come forward and get a real group photo.
Everyone, this way, big smile. Another one. Congratulations, guys.
Okay, we'll begin this afternoon with our scheduled public hearing for the board's consideration. I'd ask the town clerk to please read the hearing notice. Olga?
Today's public hearing is to consider the proposed lease of 201 Clark Drive in Ronkonkoma at Long Island MacArthur Airport to Southwest Airlines.
Are there any questions from the board? From the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That concludes our public hearings. We will now go to the public portion. We have a number of speakers who have signed up to speak today. Just to remind everyone, you each have 3 minutes to come forward. We're here to listen to you. It is not a question and answer period. However, if you have any specific concerns, and we try to have representatives of the various departments here who can step outside and handle whatever your problem is, hopefully. So our first speaker today is Robert Stadelman.
Hello, good afternoon. Robert Stottleman, Vice President, Exchange Ambulance Corporation of the Islip, 190 Carlton Avenue in East Islip. Good afternoon, Supervisor Carpenter and members of the Islip Town Council. I would like to take a moment to thank the council for their continued support of Exchange Ambulance. It's important to remember that my fellow officers, members, and I cannot serve our community without your backing. As you may know, Exchange Ambulance has been working on plans for a new facility for the past several years as we have outgrown our present facility. As the plans have become more detailed, it has become abundantly clear that a more economical option was needed rather than expanding our facility at our present location. We've recently become aware that the owners of the lot at the northwest corner of Carlton Avenue and Union Boulevard in East Islip are considering the possibility of selling this property. The size of this lot is considerably larger than our present site. Also, the layout of the existing building at this location, which was previously a car dealership and a car repair facility, amongst other things, is ideal for an ambulance headquarters. The location will also allow for safer egress of our emergency vehicles. It should be noted that although the layout of this building is ideal, the interior is in need of a complete renovation to make it functional for the needs of an EMS agency. We would like to propose to the Town Council the following plan. Purchase the property at the northwest corner of Carlton Avenue and Union Boulevard in East Islip. I believe that's 100 Carlton Avenue. Hire an engineering firm to draft plans to renovate the facility and estimate the costs. Perform the necessary renovations, and once renovations are complete, Exchange Ambulance would then move into the renovated facility. The town could then sell our present facility at 190 Carlton Avenue, as well as the property across the street. The proceeds from these sales could be used to offset the costs of the new construction, or the new renovations, purchase and renovations. There are numerous positive aspects to this plan. It will resolve all the current issues with our present facility, particularly having sufficient room for storage of our vehicles, equipment, supplies, and adequate space for member training, as well as the safety of emergency vehicles exiting the facility and entering the roadway. The property is also large enough to allow the town DPW to use the lot during storms and other emergencies as a staging area for their equipment and personnel. I understand that this is a significant change from our previous plans, but we believe this is the best course of action to ensure proper EMS coverage for our community for the years to come. As always, thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Barbara Maloney.
My name is Barbara Maloney. I'm from Sayville. It's unfortunate that the U.S. Open golfers were not here to encourage the town of Islip to apply for a landmark preservation designation of the Island Hills Golf Course. Evidently, Commissioner Rose Harvey of the New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Department in Albany was never presented with an application for Island Hills. The designer, Albert Warren Tillinghast, was not only the designer here, but designed courses that have hosted many professional major championships, such as Cedar Crest Park, the Black at Bethpage, Wingfoot, Ridgewood Country Club, as well as Brackenridge Park, Fenway Golf Club, Quaker Ridge, and Briar Hill Golf and Country Club, which is now Trump National Golf Course, to name only a few. In 2015, Mr. Tillinghast was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame, a true celebrity. What a shame to have such a historic piece of history right here in Sayville lost forever to 1,365 apartments. I'm surprised that the Sagticos Manor and Artist Colony are the only designated historic districts in Islip, according to Article 41 of the Planned Landmark Preservation District legislative intent. The town of Islip owes it to its residents to veto the zone change and encourage Mr. Reckler to pursue this designation. This would be a most positive gesture on his part. In addition, I have been the tour guide of our area to Anne Marie Jones and Greg Gordon, representatives of Mr. Reckler. They were able to see the area of Sayville that would be impacted and had the opportunity to speak to many local residents who would be directly impacted by 1,365 apartments. To that, I now offer the same opportunity to tour and speak to residents. Here are my personal invitations, and I hope to hear from you soon. So if you could hand those. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Alexa Rose.
Hello.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Alexa Basile.
Yes, that's okay. My name is Alexa Basile. I'm from Exchange Ambulance Corporation of the Islips at 190 Carlton Avenue, East Islip. Good afternoon. I would like to take a moment to thank you all for your support with Exchange Ambulance. As always, we can't do anything without you. With that being said, on Sunday, September 23rd, from approximately 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Exchange would like to host a 5K walk/run that would start and end at Islip Town Hall. It would go south on South Bay and then travel through a few side streets in the vicinity and then head back north on South Bay, and then it would be 3.1 miles in front of Town Hall. We will be using a timing event that they will be responsible for the race timing, the results, and for the setup and the takedown of the 5K. All proceeds from this event will support Exchange Ambulance, a nonprofit organization, in its mission to provide the best possible emergency care for the community. I would like to request the Town Council's support for our application for this event. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Alexa, have you submitted your paperwork?
Yes.
And what was the date again?
It was September 23rd.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Andrew Cross.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Cross. I live at 114 Brentwood Street in Bayshore. Is this thing working? This one? And once again, I'm here about the New York State NYS real property tax law line on my tax bill. Since the tax was raised 41% years ago, supposedly based on falling house prices, how come in the last 3 years of increased housing prices, it has not come down as much as the prices have gone up? Is the money from this offsetting the tax reductions given to Heartland to build the apartments? And why should the taxpayers of Islip have to pay for the apartments? Subsidizing their rent and giving Heartland tax breaks. At what point do we see ethics of the town board come into view? On one hand, getting political donations from Heartland, and on the other hand, giving them Heartland tax breaks. Is this anything like the last political donator, the Daytree and the Daytree scandal? How come almost all of the buildings in the Heartland industrial complex have tax abatements? Is this the ethics of town government, receiving political donations on one hand and giving tax rebates on the other hand? And is this what's happening in Sayville? I was at the protest against the Heartland on Comac Road, and where was the town board members? All the while claiming to be inclusive to the people, and nobody showed. Was the only way to get you to listen to the people would be to be a political donor. And 3 minutes is not enough because you're not listening to people that come up here and state their opinions, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Nelsina Day.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations. My name is Nelsina Ade, 27 East Cherry Street, Central Islip, New York. I'm glad to see that you were served papers on becoming more in tune with the people that you serve in our communities, the black and brown people in the town of Islip. I'm glad to see that that lawsuit finally hit my desk. Now, the other thing, housing. There's some housing in the town that has been abandoned, and the grass is so doggone high, it's turning brown. Only thing you need to do is throw a match out there, and you got some major fires going on. The other thing was, I think it was last year, I asked you, Supervisor Carpenter, about the property on Cypress Street off of Lowell, and you told me that that property was given over to the CI Civic unit so that we can build veterans' homes on it. Well, you know what? It's still vacant, and now they're beginning to use it for taking out big douche trucks of tires. You know, if you make a promise should be carried through. If you're working for the people, you got to work for all of us. So we need to know what is going on with that property. And we need to know why on Lowell Street, Lowell Avenue, the grass on the outside is not cut. And the trees are coming over the fence. So we don't want to have another problem. So thank you.
Thank you, Nelsina.
I did it.
Teresa Moyd. Teresa Moyd.
No, that's the county's property on Lowell. Tracy just said.
Thank you. Just a point of information, that property that you're speaking about on Lowell, Nelsina, is property of the county. So we'll have to check and see exactly which county legislator.
We'll take care of it.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Take care.
It used to be a park.
Teresa?
Teresa Moy, 32 Tudor Lane, Bayshore, New York. Teresa Moy, 32 Tudor Lane, Bayshore, New York. I was just here last year around this time, and I presented to you a situation where the vacant property, which is owned by the town, has been a problem for me for the last, now, 8 years, where the trees, and two particular trees that are overriding and sitting now almost the leaves and limbs in the middle of my backyard. I presented this to you last year, just before I had to go in for major surgery. And I explained that I had, when I bought the property in 2008, I was told that 10 feet of that wooded area would be cut back. Do not put up a fence. The council came out in a van of about 15 people, looked at it and promised me that that area would be cleaned up and the trees would be cut back. It is now 2018. I was promised last year by the commissioner that the trees would be removed. Here I am again. I've had 2 surgeries, and my senior nurse came out and did evaluation of my property and said, why are these trees and these limbs almost touching the ground? I told her I cannot afford to cut the limbs since the trees are so overgrown. Every time I called the highway department, a very nice young lady told me, we don't do that anymore. If you need it done, you can do it yourself. I said, I can't afford it. So I called again, because the nurse said she wanted to see a change before our next evaluation. And a nice young man came out, Mike came out, and he looked at the property last Tuesday. He said, I'll get back to you in 3 days with an answer. I didn't hear from him. So I came on Tuesday, just on yesterday, and I was sent back to the constituent's office. And she called over, and they looked on the records and saw that, again, that I had made requests since 2008, 2010, 2014. They said that they saw that the limbs were cut back. I have pictures, and I have video. And the young man came in 2010, he cut a few limbs and left. And they said they would be back and see about the trees. So miraculously today, the supervisor of the highway department just miraculously showed up today, assessed the situation, and says, oh, well, we can cut a few lengths. We can't get a bucket truck here to take anything out. I said, well, Mike was here last week and said that at least the 2 major trees could be cut back. He says, oh, but you hadn't talked to me. He's the supervisor. I think his name is John or James. And he says that they would get back to me. Another promise. So you can tell I don't believe in promises. Since 2008 to now, those trees are still there. My neighbor already cut back his trees. All right, thank you. But my neighbors have cut back his trees and they found the way to get it done.
Mrs. Moy, excuse me, there will not be any shouting from the audience. It's just very disrespectful. Mrs. Moy?
All right. I have pictures.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you had to come down, but the commissioner is here today, and I would ask that he go
I know, I
out.
spoke to him last year also. Thank you.
You're welcome. Howard Salkin? Howard Salkin? Mrs. Moy, you don't want to speak to the commissioner?
I spoke to him last year, ma'am.
Well, a few things have happened in the intervening time. Perhaps it might be helpful, but that's your choice. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Salkin, Howard Salkin? Donna Brown?
Good afternoon. I'm Donna Brown, resident of Sayville. First off, I want to say how nice it is to see so many wonderful programs sponsored by the town, from golf courses to beaches to camps and even horseback riding. For 39 years, I and my family have enjoyed many benefits living in Sayville, in the town of Islip. I felt that my tax dollars, though, we all complain, were fairly spent. I have to say, though, that I was surprised and appalled by what happened in Brentwood with the whole dumping scandal. I began to really wonder who was in charge in Islip and overseeing it. Then the Heartland Development Project, after so many years, was partly approved. And now we come to the request for a zoning change for the Island Hills Golf Course from AAA residential to a PDD. Newsday indicated that it is a $500 million development project. I understand today is not a day to comment on specifically the scope of the DES for Island Hills. In every aspect of it is a concern and interest to my neighborhood and the surrounding towns. It will be very enlightening to learn what alternative plan R Squared has if the rezoning is not approved. They have been quoted, and I was at the meeting, where they said there was no Plan B. I asked that question on their website, where interested parties can learn about this project, and never received a response. Please understand why our community is concerned and looking to you, our elected officials, to not allow this overdevelopment proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. The next speaker, Thomas Santarelli.
I'm certainly glad I have that $2 million lawsuit against you after what I just witnessed over here. You're a disgrace. And I'm really here last Santarelli, Bay Shore. Last year I came to complain about no water in the street sweeping machines. Well, this year we had water in the street sweeping
Mr.
machines.
Santarelli, could you speak more directly into the microphone? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah. Last year I complained about the street sweeping machines having no water in them. So this year there's water in the street sweeping machine, but Owens had the driver go right around my house.
I don't know where you live, sir.
Oh, sure you do.
All due respect.
Yeah, you, look at the lawsuits, got my address on. All right, so you want to submit this. Okay? I don't know what you're going to do about it. I know what I would do. You know, I'm deeply offended in the way that you have these park rangers descend on the citizens when they hit 3 minutes. I've never seen such a thing. I spoke before the county legislature, and at 3 minutes, somebody says, you know, you just got over your 3 minutes. I don't see the sheriffs jumping on those people. I don't know what your problem is. I think in your world, there would be no habeas corpus. If you don't know what that means, ask that overpaid boon and ask your $87,000 a year flunky that shows you how to commit crimes.
Thank you, Mr. Santorelli. Next speaker, Greg Pepe.
You're clicking seconds off, you're not even listening.
It hasn't started, but
all right.
I think she's waiting for you to give your
Okay.
name and address for the clerk.
Yes, Greg Pepe, Islip, New York. I'm glad to see that the Exchange Ambulance is here today, and now they're deciding on moving to the old Chevrolet and the town building, the highway building. But this is the thing. They hired on H2M to lay out plans for their existing building where they are now on Carlton Avenue, to expand that, okay? And also to have parking facilities on the opposite side. So I pay taxes to the Exchange Ambulance. I'd like to know, why did Mr. Statham condemn that building as an unsafe building, the building they're in now? Now he expects the town to resell an unsafe building? I mean, what's going on here? Who paid to have H2M architects draw out this new building? It was our tax money that was used, right? Are we going to get reimbursed for this? Huh? Secondly, the RAP program with recyclables. All the plastics and the aluminum, tin, goes over to Lincoln Avenue facility throughout the township. Then it's trucked from there to 135 Pioneer Drive, the plastics are. How much money are we getting reimbursed from this private facility? And how much weight, scaled weight, are the town trucks taking from the Lincoln Avenue facility over to Pioneer Drive? We tried to foil for this, and we've gotten nothing back from the attorney's office on how much the town's making on the recyclable end of these products, the scaled weights of the trucks, the material weight that's being scaled at Lincoln Avenue and taken over to this private facility. Okay, so why is it that these foils going 6 months? Huh? That's why we need a higher government agencies to look into this and start probing a lot of these inconsistencies, untransparencies that you put forward on us. You know, we're paying taxes that are astronomical in on Long Island, okay? So these are just some of the things that I think you should look into, you know. And if the Exchange Ambulance is here, I'd like to have a rebuttal to know why this money was spent on H2M architects, and are we going to get reimbursed for this? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pepe. Next speaker, Debbie Kavanaugh.
Debbie Kavanaugh, 21 Walnut Street, representing the Central Islip Coalition of Good Neighbors. Couple things. Number one, after speaking with Commissioner Myers on the Foxgate issue of the $500,000 that they want to pay instead of completing their agreement with the town made several years ago, the coalition opposes the change to just let them walk off with the $500,000 and settle their bill, when they said $2 million was supposed to be spent. So coalition officially is putting on record that we oppose. Number two, Sousa told us that the town has cashed their $250,000 check to refurbish the Little League fields and take care of the drainage problem over on Eastview Drive. When will the work begin? That's what we'd like to know. And the third and final thing that I have to ask is, we have code enforcement issues at night where cars are parking along 6 to 7 cars, but when you send code enforcement there during the day, you're not going to see it because they're not at home, or you're not going to see it because it's on the weekend. So can we have a code enforcement officer assigned to come at night after 7 o'clock or on the weekends to handle some of the code enforcement issues? Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Next speaker, Harrison Beach.
Hi, good afternoon. It's Harrison Bench, 107 Collins Avenue, Sable. I'm here today representing the Suffolk Student Climate Action Committee. We're a group of concerned students. I mean, I met with a bunch of you before with my group. Today, I'm here, I'm approaching you guys. The town of Islip is the only town in our county that does not have a specific staff person designated for sustainability. And I feel that we need that person. We need that person to become a climate smart community because we are falling behind on that. We need that person to endorse solar and other renewable energies on Long Island. We need that. We're falling behind on that. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. And I just feel that town of Islip could be doing so much more when it comes to the fight against, climate change. And personal opinions aside, renewable energy is a very economical choice to make for a community. So I feel that someone from either Parks and Rec or Energy should be designated for sustainability and looking into renewable energy policies and ways that our community, our Islip community, could be enhanced in terms of renewable energy. So that way that we can meet with that person, it would be more centralized, because right now there's no one in our municipal government specifically for that. So I feel that if we were able to implement a specific person for sustainability for renewable energy, we'd be able to accomplish a lot more of the goals that the youth would like to see and other community members would like to see in terms of renewable energy in our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Harrison, and I believe we've been going back and forth for about a week or so, trying to nail down a date. You had reached out.
Yes.
Did you guys finally connect?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I'll be in touch,
Good.
yes.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Lilia Bartolotta.
Hi, I'm Lilia Bartolotta, 77 Indian Head Drive, Sable. And I also am from the Suffolk Student Climate Action Committee, and we're trying to... Oh, okay. We're trying to get more renewable energy in our community, as Harrison stated before. And we're just trying to push. As of now, Islip is one of the only towns on Long Island in the county that isn't climate smart or certified in any of the climate smart communities. And we're really falling behind on sustainable and renewable resources that other towns are doing. And I just really, I'm really hoping that we can try to become a more sustainable community. As of now, as Harrison stated before, we have no sustainability director. And a few months ago, we came to this town board meeting and addressed this issue, and still nothing has been done. I really want to be in touch with you guys so that we can try to focus on this issue and try to prepare for the future in ways that we can, and try to force trying to get more renewable energy or just become a more sustainable community. We've talked to people like Lisa Broughton, who is a sustainability director for the county, and she's done so much in terms of sustainability for our community. If we were able to get this for our community, then we would move much farther and probably become a climate smart community. Thank you.
Thank you. There are a number of efforts and initiatives that have been undertaken. That's why we're looking forward to that meeting, Harrison. So hopefully we'll get that set soon. Susan Schultz.
Hello, I'm Susan Schultz, 10 Chevy Court, Oakdale. I grew up in Oakdale. My parents bought a house in 1957. I was in first grade, and I've grown up and married and living in Oakdale. I'm a retired Connecticut teacher, and I'd like to first of all ask, is the Island Hills rezoning a done deal, or is it really being questioned?
It's absolutely not a done deal. In fact, one of the resolutions on the agenda today is to adopt the scoping document, which begins the whole environmental review process.
Because
In
as
earnest.
a retired teacher, I know the influx of many families is going to affect the educational system in the school district, the number of teachers that are there and needed, the traffic, and so forth. So I hope that it will be truly examined.
Susan, I'm glad you came forward because it'll give me an opportunity to say that I had jotted down some notes and I can't seem to find them. But this scoping session and the public hearing that was held was very, very productive because the community came out and they raised their concerns, they raised issues that they wanted addressed, and that was all included in the document that we're going to be adopting today, which lays out, step by step by step of everything that really needs to be looked at so that the environmental impacts are truly being addressed. Things like directing the developer to look at possible alternatives. No stone was left unturned. It's a very thorough document. It's going to be a very long process in moving forward. So there'll be many, many ample opportunities for the community to come forward, to know what's going on, and to express their concerns. Okay?
Because the
Thank you.
traffic is already crazy in the area. Thank you.
Thank you. Deirdre Serber, or Suber?
Hello. Deirdre Serber, 159 Division Avenue, West Sayville. I have been watching for a number of months people coming to these meetings, and I just said to myself, shame on me if I am not one of those people as well to come and express my concerns over Island Hills. I didn't make a prepared statement. I just want to speak from the heart. I love my community. We moved here in 1979, and our real estate person said, oh, you'll sell your house in 5 years and move on to a bigger house. And I'm like, no, I won't. And we didn't. We stayed there. We love our little neighborhood. I'm just very concerned about just the overall picture of traffic and everything everybody's already stated. And people have stated it so eloquently, more eloquently than I could do right now. I take a country western line dancing class at the VFW on Lakeland Avenue on Tuesday nights. Tuesday night, 9:15, our class gets out. I have waited there for like 17 or 18 cars to go by before I can make my little right-hand turn on Lakeland Avenue. I'm not against change. Change is going to happen. I like change to be subtle, slower. This, to me, is going to be so drastic, and to me, it is actually frightening how drastic the change will be if this complex comes into Island Hills. So I hope you consider, I know you are considering, obviously, it's your job, it's what we elect you to do, but I'm just not happy about this, and I hope the conclusion is to not rezone that property. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deirdre. George Serber?
Good afternoon. My name's George Serber. I live at 159 Division Avenue, West Sayville. I've been there, as my wife just said, since 1979. We love the neighborhood. The reason why we moved into Sayville is because the quaintness of the town. It's a small town. It's a very tightly knitted town, and that is displayed by all types of activities that go on in Sayville, from the Memorial Day parade, Veterans Day, the Summerfest, and all the activities that go on in Sayville. My concern is that we're going to lose that quaintness, the small town feel, and the reality of the small town with this huge project. When you're talking about 1,365 apartments, 27 buildings, 3 to 4 stories, most of them 3 to 4 stories high, that doesn't fit into the Sayville quaintness, doesn't fit into our town at all. So I'm very concerned about that. And actually, Susan Schultz, who spoke before me, raised a question that I was going to ask. Some of my neighbors have said, although they oppose the project, they believe it's a fait accompli. And I said, no, no, no. But I read in today's Newsday that they're moving ahead with the environmental study, environmental impact study, the traffic study. And my understanding is that they're going to be paying, Reckless is going to be paying a lot of money to have those studies done. And I am certainly hopeful. In fact, I expect that it has not been decided, the zoning change from AAA to PDD, because I love my town. And we moved there, as I said, because of its quaintness and its small town feel. And this would certainly change the quality of life in our town. Traffic now going down Lakeland Avenue, going down Railroad Avenue, Brook Street, all of those points of entry into Sayville are becoming more and more crowded. And I can only imagine with 2,000 to 3,000 more cars what it's going to be like. It would be devastating. So I would hope that you keep an open mind, and that I expect that you would do the right thing, and that is to keep Sayville the town that it is. It's been that way for probably 150 years or more. If you look back at the history of Sayville, that's why we moved in, and we want to keep it that way. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, George. Eric Stenzel.
Eric Stenzel, 80 Amy Drive, Sayville, New York. I'm here today because my life has been entirely in Sayville. I'm only 17 years old, and I'm seeing what's happening not just to Sayville and Islip, to what's happening to the entire planet as we are speaking. The climate is progressively getting worse and worse, and I have yet to see the urgency from all political bodies, not just here, but on the state and federal level, to actually prevent what is happening to our planet. We're sitting here right now with a community which is more galvanized to action by a housing development than by the potential that half the town is going to be underwater in 20 to 30 years. It seems to me that there are more important issues which this town board should be looking at, that this town board should be addressing on a daily basis. We need a full commitment to 100% renewable energy. We need a sustainability person. We need a sustainability board that actually interacts with community to see what people want. We can't stand here waiting for it to happen. I know that we can play politics all we want. We can sit here, we can talk about what ideally we can do and how the money is going to limit us, but one day, we won't be here anymore to do it. I'm worried about myself, my friends, and our kids who are one day going to have to live in a community who, because of the actions of boards now, of actions of state and federal governments now, are going to have less area to live on, less places to actually go to school, less places to just carry out their lives. We need to think not now with the housing developments and whatnot, but something that's going to be happening years from now. This is the short-sightedness of government that we keep getting over and over again in our country, and we need to think about the long-term impacts, which is something which we do not have right now, something that we have not observed, and that is why I am really urging this town board to take the necessary steps to say that we are going to not just be one who is involved in being a climate-smart community, but one which is going to lead the way, one which should be a role model for other communities around the country to show that if it isn't going to get done at the state level, if it isn't going to get done at the federal level, it is going to get done here. Because here in Islip, we are directly impacted by these problems. We know what's going to happen to us, and we need to fix them. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in a situation wishing where we had done something now, when in reality, we didn't. That's why we need to take action and do it quickly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric, and thank you for your passion. Next speaker, Kevin Shapiro.
Good afternoon. Kevin Shapiro, 851 Smithtown Avenue, Bohemia. I'd like to thank each of you for giving me this opportunity to speak. Thank you. Today, I'd like to speak about the draft environmental impact study for the Island Hills project. Although I understand that it will be adopted today, I still have some remaining concerns about the study. Chiefly, I believe it does not go far enough in terms of what it's actually studying. For example, the traffic study is limited to only the immediate streets, which is not an accurate representation of the full impact that it's going to have. For example, the 2009 Sunrise Highway Corridor Study specifically advised against this type of high-density development, and it would seem to me that to change the zoning and to decide in opposition to this recommendation would be tantamount to a colossal disservice to every single commuter and every single resident in all of the local communities. I think it does not go far enough in terms of the way that it's set up. It's taken piecemeal, this development, that one, this one. But realistically, at least in the town of Islip, I think it needs to be considered in combination with the other developments that have already been approved or are in the process of being so. For example, the Ronkonkoma Hub project, the Heartland 9000 apartment project, the building project on the corner of Lincoln Avenue and Sunrise, that gargantuan development between Montauk Highway and Sunrise Highway just west of Island Hills. I'm not sure what it's called, sorry. But, just to point out, things like traffic, water usage, the salinity of our aquifer, et cetera, impact on wildlife, et cetera, cannot be locally measured in a piecemeal way because each and every one of these developments will impact all of these things. I guess to put it bluntly, we all share basically 3 major highways and 1 single source aquifer. And I think in light of this study just does not go far enough in measuring all of the impacts, both on quality of life, traffic, the environment, and so on. So, I appreciate the fact that there will be a study. I hope that in the way it's set up, that everything in it will be taken into very strict consideration. And again, just to say, just from my opinion, it does not go far enough in measuring all of the impacts that, which will be profound, that I am sure that we will have. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. Abdul Halini.
Hi, my name is Ahmet Saygılı. I have a soft ice cream truck depot Bayshore, more than 20 years. 17 truck parking in my depot, 10 truck going to Islip town, but more than 50 truck working the Islip, no permit, illegal health permit. So we pay, should be they get the hard ice cream truck, but soft ice cream truck need the couple permit. Need the health permit, food manager, and tax ID, and they have to pay the tax. But other trucks, just hard permit, just pay the town $300, maybe $400, pay, and that's it. And a lot of people complain, and I complain last 5-6 years in Islip town, nobody get anything. Other trucks work in the Huntington town. If you work one day, police or health public safety came and right away. I called the public safety, Islip town too, but nobody came anything. Nobody care anything too. So please, I have more than 20 years Islip town, the depot. So a lot of people complain, please do something. Thank you.
Could you just, for the clerk, repeat your name?
Ahmet Saygılı. It's my friend. We came together.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was the one that was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To him, but he said, okay.
All right, thank you, Ahmed. Next speaker, Ana Flores.
Good afternoon, members of the council. My name is Ana Flores, and I stand here with Maria Magdalena Hernandez. We both live in Brentwood, and I am joined here today by members of Make the Road New York and New York Communities for Change. We held a press conference earlier today outside of Town Hall to make a statement. Our community has lived in this town for decades, and we are proud to call Brentwood our home. For far too long, we felt invisible in our own town. We are here to simply say that we will be silenced no more. The votes in our community count, and will be heard, and we will have fair representation in the town board. Our attorneys look forward to hearing from you so that we can begin to envision a more inclusive Islip.
Quisiera los servicios de interpretación, por favor, en español.
She's asking for interpretation.
¿Lo tienen?
Yes, if you would, generally, you need to request it ahead of time. We have someone here? Yes. Lizette?
Estoy aquí también como una demandante y es para exigir que ya no sigamos siendo tratados como ciudadanos de segunda clase. Que hace muchos años que seguimos siendo tratados así y que nunca nos han prestado atención.
Lisette Barrios Reyes, 655 Main Street, Islip. Lisette Barrios Reyes, 655 Main Street, Islip.
Ya lo
Ay, no, tiene que, necesito muy rápido. Dime lo primero que dijiste.
Pero yo ya lo dije. Entonces,
Ay, no,
si
pero
tienen
estaba
los servicios
sentada.
de interpretación es porque es simultáneo y la persona que lo interpreta tiene que ser lo fluido también.
Y también los servicios tienen que pedirlo antes de tiempo, por eso que necesito tiempo. Por favor, dímelo. No.
Quiero decirlo que no
todo
ninguno.
junto, poquito a poco, para yo repetirlo con usted.
Prácticamente todos los que están sentados en esa silla nunca no representan mis intereses porque nos siguen tratando como ciudadanos de segunda clase.
Are not representing and are treating them like second citizens.
Porque estamos siendo tratados y hemos sido tratados siempre como ciudadanos de segunda clase.
And we all been treated as second class citizens.
Nunca nos prestan atención, nos han dejado abandonados en el pueblo de Brentwood.
We have had no attention and they have abandoned us in the community of Brentwood.
Queremos más atención de parte de ustedes porque necesitamos una persona que represente la comunidad latina.
We need more representatives from the town board, especially in the Latin community.
Y es ahora que lo exigimos.
And it's now that we ask for it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those are one final, Howard Salkin. Okay, there are no other cards. Motion to close the public portion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Bergen, second.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Public portion is closed. Okay, the first item on the agenda this afternoon are the appropriation transfers. Are there any questions? Hearing none, motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Cochran. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Next item are the bid awards. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Mullins, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Next is the authorization for the town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider amending the Town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Bergen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 4, Town Board authorization to secure, clean, or demolish certain properties within the Town of Islip. Taryn?
Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board, Town Clerk. Taryn Brzezinski, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street, Islip, New York. Number 1, to clean up the premises located at 0 Montauk Highway, East Islip. On this property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Councilman O'Connor.
Karen, the fact that it's called 0 Montauk Highway, is that because there is no street address on this
It's a
particular
vacant
lot?
lot.
Yeah, it's a vacant lot and it doesn't have an assigned street address?
I don't believe so. Would you know that, Gary?
Generally, when we have a lot of parcels, there are multiple that have that separated distinctly by their tax map rather than an address until they're developed.
Because I went to look it up on Google Maps and couldn't identify it. So approximately where are we talking about here for this particular parcel?
That, I don't have the exact information, but if you want, we can get together the tax map numbers.
Okay, and it's just a cleanup of a vacant lot.
To clean up of the vacant lot.
Okay, thanks.
Excuse me, will you put your name on the record and your
Yes.
position?
Gary Mowbray, Fire Marshal 2.
Thank you.
No problem.
Go ahead, Taryn.
You guys have to vote, sorry.
I'm so sorry. Any other questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved.
Number 2, to board up the premises located at 16 Tex Court, Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, an unsecured in-ground pool, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Are there any questions? Hearing, I'm sorry. Motion by Councilman Bergen, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 3, to board and clean up the premises located at 18 John Street, Bayshore. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 4, to clean up the premises located at 23 Pineview Boulevard, Central Islip. On this property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second.
Second.
By Councilman Bergen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 5, to board and clean up the premises located at 33 Birch Grove Drive, Central Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors with overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran,
Second.
second by Councilman Bergen. All those in favor? Opposed? Disapproved.
Number 6, to board and clean up the premises located at 72 Gates Avenue, Central Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, unregistered vehicles, with high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions?
I have a quick question.
Councilman O'Connor.
Karen, I see in the photo, particularly the first photo that was given to the town board in support of this application, there is a date stamp on the bottom saying 6/18 of 2018. So that would have been yesterday?
Yesterday.
Okay. And the vehicle depicted in the first photograph, do you know how long it's been there?
I believe it was witnessed on their first date when they went to placard the premises, so it would be at least a month.
You don't have any idea when the last Google Maps satellite image was taken of that property?
No idea.
Because the same vehicle
was
is
there?
parked in the same spot in Google Maps at the same address.
Okay, so it's been there a while.
Yes.
Any other questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 7, to board and clean up the premises located at 115 Caleb's Path, Brentwood. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, an unsecured detached garage, a fence in disrepair, with high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen,
Second.
second by Councilman Bergen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Disapproved.
Number 8, to demolish the premises located at 156 Grant Avenue, Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unsafe main dwelling, which is in immediate danger of collapse due to structural failure, disrepair, and neglect. The structure has been determined to be in imminent danger of collapse by our senior building inspector. The premises constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Are there any questions?
I just have a couple of questions. Karen, I was able to go to a demo recently in North Bay Shore,
Okay.
and this is also a demo.
Yes.
So in order to get to the stage of being a demo, it has to go through all of the other processes, is that right?
Yes.
Board up?
I don't know necessarily a board up. Usually we do a cleanup so
Cleanup.
they can access the property.
Okay,
And
so
this one definitely has had.
there are multiple opportunities for the
Yes.
property owner to cure
come forward.
the problem before we get to the stage of
Yes.
demo. Thank you.
And it's only when it's determined that it's an imminent threat of collapse that we do a demolition.
JR, if you know, generally how soon after we approve this is the demolition scheduled? Does it take a time or?
I want to say like a week to 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Number 9, to board to clean up the premises located at 367 Whipple Street, Brentwood. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, an unsecured garage, an unsecured in-ground pool with high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran.
Second.
Second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved.
Number 10, to board to clean up the premises located at 883 Grundy Avenue, Holbrook. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors with high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. Second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved.
Number 11, to board up the premises located at 901 Goodall Road, West Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is approved.
Number 12 has been withdrawn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Taryn. We next go to item number 5, meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. I will call the board to convene. Motion to convene.
Second.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Bergen. We are convened, a quorum being present. Bill, you may begin.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the agency board. William Mannix, Executive Director, Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip. We have 2 items for your consideration today, the first of which is the minutes of the meeting of the May 15th, on May 15th.
Are there any?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen to approve the minutes. Minutes are approved. All in favor?
Second item on the agenda is an authorizing resolution for CPI Aerostructures. This would authorize their expansion at 91 Heartland Boulevard in Edgewood, and you induced this project at our last meeting on May 15th.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen.
Second.
Second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is approved.
I have no other items for your consideration.
Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Bergen. All those in favor? Opposed? The Industrial Development Agency stands adjourned. Next, we will go to item 6, authorization for the supervisor to enter into a lease agreement with Chris Karangi for 1 parcel of town-owned Bay Bottom land for the purpose of shellfish cultivation. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
4 in favor, 1 abstention. The motion carries. Next, we go to the meeting of the Town of Islip Resource Recovery Agency. Call for a motion.
Motion.
By Councilman Bergen, second by Councilman O'Connor, a quorum being present. Jim, are you here? I think there was only one item on this anyway.
Approve the minutes.
Okay, we will go right to this. I think it was kind of basic. First, we have an approval of the minutes for the May 15th
Make a motion to
agency
approve the
meeting.
minutes.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. Those in favor, opposed. The minutes are approved. Next is authorizing the general salary increases in the amount of 2% for non-represented agency management employees of the agency. Are there any questions?
It's just a salary increase to reflect the same salary increase that the bargaining unit employees got, correct?
Exactly.
Motion?
Exactly the same. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Bergen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Motion to adjourn by Councilman
Second.
Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? The Islip Resource Recovery Agency meeting is adjourned. We now go to authorization for supervisor to enter into a contract of sale for the 23-plus acres of the leased premises with Brothers Duo 3 LLC for consideration of $3.250 million, with the covenant requiring that the property's use and the benefits to the town of Islip residents remain as set forth in the lease. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Next, we go to the meeting of the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone. Motion
Motion.
by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman O'Connor. With motion and a second, we are convened the Islip Town Trade Zone Board, a quorum being present. Mr. Hemingway.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the Foreign Trade Zone Board. My name is Brad Hemingway, and I'm the director at the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority, located at 1 Trade Zone Drive in Ronkonkoma. I have 2 items for your consideration this afternoon. First item is the approval of the minutes from the February 27th, 2018 meeting of the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Board.
Motion
Motion.
by Councilman O'Connor, second.
Second.
By Councilman Bergen. All those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are approved.
Second item is the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority is requesting authorization to enter into a sublease with LRMP LLC for property within the FTZ known as Parcel 13 at an address of 100 Trade Zone Drive, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
Nothing further today.
Review
No
adjourned.
other business. Motion by Councilman O'Connor to adjourn. I'll second that. We stand adjourned. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Item 10, authorization for supervisor to enter into agreement with Oshkosh Airport Products LLC for the purchase and replacement of 2 airport rescue firefighting vehicles at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Authorization for supervisor to execute an agreement with Johnson, Kakata, and Mukasey for engineering, construction, inspection, and administrative services relating to the rehabilitation of runway 624 at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is approved. Item 12, authorization for supervisor to execute an agreement with the Baywalk Cafe to provide lunch for the Patricia A. Mooney Beach Camp at Atlantique Beach. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Bergen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Item 13, authorization for supervisor to enter into agreement with Open Water Swim LLC to provide a junior lifeguard program. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Item 14, authorization for supervisor to execute an agreement with Race is Awesome to provide services in relation to conducting a Northwell Health Great South Bay Run on September 22nd to be held in the Bayshore and Bright Waters communities. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second.
Second.
By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Next, we move to item 15, Town Board approval to permit the Town of Islip Youth Bureau to host drop-off sites throughout the town to collect donations for the school supply donation program. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Next, we have the appointment of Carrie Monahan to the Islip Town Youth Board. This is a youth appointment. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Item 17, authorization for supervisor to accept grant funds from Suffolk County to continue to provide youth service and runaway homeless programs for positive youth development. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen,
Second.
second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Authorization for the town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider amending Chapter 46 of the Islip Town Code entitled Solicitors and Canvassers. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Authorization for supervisor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the Community Development Agency for the purpose of repaving the parking lot located at 15 Shore Lane in Bay Shore. This certainly is in the spirit of shared services. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Bergen, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 20, authorization for supervisor to enter into a contract with Winterberry Irrigation LLC for contract DPD 318 golf course irrigation system at the Brentwood Country Club. Any questions?
I just have a question.
Yes, Councilman O'Connor.
Is the commissioner here?
Yes, he is or was.
Just wondering if this was a replacement or a new system?
It's a new system.
It's a
Okay.
long story.
It's a long time
three-year
coming.
story.
It's a three-year
Three-year
story.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I asked the question.
No, it's all good, and it's going to make a lot of people very happy, especially the golfers. Okay, and we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, is approved. Item 21, authorization for supervisor to enter into contract with SIPCO Boarding Company, Inc. for contract DPD 218, board up and secure various properties townwide. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
One
And one
abstention.
abstention. Item 22, special events. Again, there are a plethora of activities going on this summer in the town. And we just urge everybody to be cognizant of the deadlines for submitting your paperwork, because it really makes us feel terrible if people miss the deadline and can't have the event that they've been planning for. So we thank the clerk's office for their diligence and efforts on everyone's behalf. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Item 23, authorization for supervisor to apply for and accept grant funds from the New York State Department of Transportation to construct certain sidewalks and sidewalk improvements in the hamlet of Brentwood. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. This goes along with all of the paving that's been happening in the hamlet of Brentwood, the entire lot around the recreation center. I know Washington Avenue has commenced a lot of the side streets, so it's all good. Item 24, Town Board approval to renew the contract with Document Reprocessors of New York, Inc. for the first one-year extension period to continue to scan, archive, and destroy the town's application, permit, and other document files, and to restore damaged files. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is approved. Authorization with the supervisor to accept funding from the Suffolk County Water Authority for the paving restoration of May Street in Bay Shore. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second
Second.
by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. I just received an email the other day from someone who was thanking us for paving a particular road, and I can't remember if it was Central Islip or Bay Shore, but wherever the hamlet was, they were a little upset that the Water Authority came in afterwards to make some repairs. So we checked in on it, and the Water Authority, it was an emergency repair that had to be done. So I just want everyone to be aware that we are cognizant of that, and we do reach out to the utilities, to Grid, to LIPA, and/or PSE&G, and the Water Authority before we commence a paving project to make sure that there isn't something imminent. So we are keeping on top of things. Next item
Supervisor, the next 7 are all the same, just different locations with the same agreements with the Suffolk County Water Authority.
Okay,
I know.
so again, these were areas that they had to come back and do the restoration for paving. So items 26 through 32, correct?
Yeah.
All right. This is actually an authorization for supervisor to accept funds from the Suffolk County Water Authority for the necessary overlay paving restoration of Anna Street in Bay Shore, 6th Street and 2nd Avenue in Brentwood, Henry Place and Juliet Street in Bay Shore, Fairway West, Fairway East, Wendover Road, and Greenway Terrace in Sayville, Wendover Road and Greenway Terrace in Sayville due to water mains, First Court, Connecticut Avenue, South Street, and Awixa Avenue in Bay Shore, and Kenneth Lane in Bay Shore. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Or they all are approved, 26 through 32. Thank you, J.R. 33, Town Board approval to renew the contract with Wellsback Electric of Long Island for DPW 1 2014 installation and maintenance of streetlights for the second and final one-year extension period. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullins, second. Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, is approved. Authorization for the supervisor to enter into a contract with Best Climate Control for DPW 6/2018 air conditioning preventative maintenance service contract. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bergen. All those in favor, opposed, is approved. Item 35, Town Board approval to amend the official map of the Town of Islip by deleting Arctic Avenue and Harding Street in Bohemia. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, is approved. Item 36, authorization for supervisor to enter into a contract with Land Tech Group, Inc. for DPW 7-2018 concrete curbs, sidewalk, and aprons at various locations. Those locations are townwide. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 37, authorization for supervisor to execute an easement in favor of Wester Becky and Fallon to allow the installation and maintenance of a sanitary system within a portion of town-owned property located to the north of the premises situated at 53 Main Street in Sayville. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. 38, as we discussed earlier, is the adoption of the final scope for the draft environmental impact statement in relation to R Squared Development LLC, CZ 2017-009, proposed redevelopment of the Island Hills Golf Course. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 39, establishment of a standard workday for elected officials and appointed officials for the Town of Islip is required by Regulation 315-4 of the New York State and Local Retirement System. I'll make that motion. Second.
I think, were you abstaining, me and Jim on this? Okay.
I'll second that motion.
All right, I made the motion. Second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Item 40, authorization for the supervisor to enter into a contract for sale and any other requisite documents for the purchase of the premises known as 100 Carlton Avenue in East Islip. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. And the companion bond resolution, roll call vote on the bond resolution. Same motion, same second.
Same
Roll
motion,
call.
Same second. Councilman Cochran.
Yay.
Councilwoman Bergen.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Aye.
And Councilwoman Mullen.
Yes.
And Supervisor Carpenter.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 42, Town Board recognition of UPSEU as the exclusive bargaining representative for the Town of Islip lifeguards. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Authorization for supervisor to execute a license agreement with Haas Yildirim to operate a food service concession at Byron Lake Park. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Council Bergen, second.
Second.
By Council Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Item 44, authorization for supervisor to execute a license agreement with Captain Bill's Restaurant for the non-exclusive parking spaces on Ocean Avenue in Bay Shore. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Bergen, second.
Second.
By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Item 45, appointment of Maureen Dunn to the Town of Islip Environmental Council Board. This is the ITEC board, has been in place for probably over 30 years in the town. So to kind of correct the record, environmental issues are something that have been very near and dear to the hearts of the town of Islip for decades. Scholarships given and really attention to the issues. And when the students came forward, we encouraged them to participate with the ITEC board, and they have been doing so. And this woman that we're appointing today actually works with CTUC and has worked with some of these groups, so I think that'll be very, very helpful. We have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Is approved. Item 46, authorization with the supervisor to execute an indemnification agreement on behalf of the town of Islip Lifeguard